Hey guys, welcome to the show. If you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. We got a great one lined up for you today, man. We're gonna take the Odyssey, the fantasy Geodesy, gonna give it a proper pasting. How you like that? Say hello to the panel out there. The beautiful Betty Van Velsen is back from vacation. What's up, Betty?
Yay, I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, we had to be locked down, so yeah. Nowhere to go, nowhere to go.
I'm back,
Hey, Neil.
and I got permission to vote from the judge.
Yay! Congratulations.
Your vote counts.
I know.
Exactly.
I heard you saying you never voted in your life. Neither have I. This is my first time ever.
Yeah, I never have. I think intuitively, even as a child, that I thought it was a sham. Now, listen, I'm not punking anyone else out there that likes to vote and think it's the American way, and it's. I don't have anything against that. I just think it's a sham, and always thought that way.
Yeah, well, me too. But my son said to me, if the guy you want doesn't win, then you better not say nothing if you vote. So he's pretty much convicted me to vote. So at least I can complain if it don't work out.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Hey, Witset, I see you in here, sir. How's it going? Cool. Did you vote?
You did talk in it a little while ago.
That's good, huh?
Hey, at least he's here. Maybe he's getting his. He said that it might have some issues with the audio, but make sure he's probably trying to get that squared away. But good to have you, sir. Just chime in. Just interrupt whenever you want to interrupt. How about that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, man. Cool.
How's it going, bro?
Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Been overdue.
It is overdue, man. It's way overdue. So we got Witsit Gets It from GLOWBUSTERS, and we have, and he's going to be one of the principals in here, because what we're going to talk about is just briefly was his interaction a few days ago with a geodetic surveyor, main surveyor. So I asked Witsit to come on in, get his take on how that debate went. I already know how it went because I watched it. But we're going to take that to the woodshed, but we're waiting for a couple other people to come rolling on in here. It seems that my time for the show because other people like work and stuff. And I never really liked work all that much, so I ain't going to do that anymore. But other people do. So we'll give it a few minutes. We'll just shoot the breeze here for a little bit before we get into it. The presentation isn't that long. It's going to be a proper pasting really quick. So everyone, welcome. Brian, Logic, how's it going?
Hey, how are things? Thanks for having me on.
Boy, everyone sounds really good. Has Discord done something with their sound settings?
So how do you not work? Teach me the secret, because I don't want to work either.
Well, Neil, I happen to be retired, and it happens when you get old.
No, it happens when you do the 20
But
years.
I'm old too.
Yeah, it's unfair.
Wah,
QE's living off the government.
wah, wah, wah. Everyone is just grown adult whiners.
So Neil is going to vote, and you're not. And but what do you guys think of what's going to happen tonight? Who's going to win?
Don't know. Don't care.
Doesn't matter. They both work for Israel.
Oh God! Get me banned already.
Oh,
What knows what's gonna happen?
I'm just messing with you.
I
Sounds like,
voted for the other guy, so the other guy wouldn't get in.
Go ahead, Adam.
Good evening. Sounds like you don't believe in the plan, John.
It's not that I don't believe it. Like I said, even as a child, intuitively, I knew that it was a sham. So, and things got worse as I got older.
I asked
Yeah?
Betty while we was off air, because I don't vote. I just said the last time I voted was I did it for Brexit, which was the reason I thought just do it. And I asked Betty, would you, if you were American, would you bother now to go? And it's like what Neil's doing. Would you bother to go and vote and go against what you normally do?
Yeah.
Just to stick one in. Now, whether that's we're being played in that, but it was interesting that Neil was. I didn't know that. It was just off getting permission from a judge to be able to do that exact thing. But that's interesting that there's that level of feeling in the States that actually, shit, yeah, we can't let the alternative happen. I don't want to talk about Trump. The not allowing the alternative appears to be
Yeah,
his
it's
biggest.
strategic, basically, right?
Mm.
Yeah, the voting here in Holland is more difficult, I think, in the sense that you don't vote for a president, vote for a certain party, right? And these parties sort of work together because they have to get a sort of a majority, and it will never be the parties that sort of go to rule are the ones that you are voted for.
What
So
do you?
there's every time people say, "Well, you voted yourself for these people," I said, "No, I never voted for these people. I always vote for the parties that will be in sort of counterparties."
When
Right?
you say
Not
parties, when you say party, sorry to interrupt you, because I don't understand Netherlands or any of that stuff. I hardly understand the United States. Is it like a parliament scenario?
Yeah, we got 150 people that can sort of enter into the parliament, the second room we call it, the second.
Okay.
I don't know how to translate that. And then so every sort of seat is a representative of someone from a party, right? So, and if you have the majority of the 150 people, you are able to rule over the other parties.
Do they
And a
represent?
party,
Do they I'm sorry to interrupt again. Do they represent like geographical places in the Netherlands or no?
no, there's a it is, parties that go all over the country, right? And so you have maybe like Republicans and Democrats. You have two sides, right? But we have like splinter groups. Even we have a party for the animals. But you also have a party for the elderly, Christian parties, the liberals, of course.
Oh, so it's subject that I see. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
That's really strange.
Yeah.
They have that. Do they have that in England?
Yeah, they got the Labour Party and another.
One for the
Wait.
wankers, one for the drunks. Does it go by subject?
Unfortunately not. Although Nigel Farage keeps attempting that sort of. He's just formed another. He formed the Brexit Party and so on, and UKIP, all those. His tends to be a gender-based political party. So the next one he's just formed is the anti-lockdown party. So, but no, we're still like, two poles, conservative Labour. They throw in a bit of liberalism.
Right.
We have a third colour instead of just red and blue. You know what I mean? We have a yellow as well. Just give that added illusion of choice, John.
Yeah, I got you. Yes, sure. Yeah, that's really good. I like that. I like the piling on more horse, or you know what I'm talking about. But that's really unique because I didn't know that, and I'll bet you a lot of people didn't know that out there. So we learned something today that in the Netherlands, it's not like district or region; it's based on topic. I find that fascinating.
Topics, basically. It's like certain views. You have the liberal view, you have the Christian view, Labour view.
Huh.
You have but then you get sort of these splinter groups because we used to have two major big ones, and they were usually opposed to one
Sure.
another. But you see that nowadays people are sort of splintering off to other certain parties, right? So they
Yep.
like that.
the Dutch political system is definitely
Oh, here we
refracted.
go. Arwen had to chime in because
He
he's
said
Dutch.
something great because he's correct. It's refracted.
It's a rainbow all over the place.
Yeah.
It's refracted.
Yeah, but that means that these people they never have never have a big party that will have the majority of the room of the government basically. So you have to have 76 people or 76 votes basically, and never get that anymore. So they have to sort of make coalitions with other parties, and they are sort of like alike, and they make compromises all the time. Or they just go back on the words.
I love the way this show goes because we don't know where this is going to go. Now we're
It's
into
just a whole bunch of discussing Dutch people
Dutch parliamentary
somehow
procedures.
getting to an agreement. That's basically what it is.
I want to get into Dutch parliamentary procedures, and then we're going to go to Witsit and see if the state of Tennessee has the same type of parliament structure.
What do you want to know?
Witsit, is the politics in Tennessee similar to that in the Netherlands?
I don't know, man. I've never voted in my life for anything.
I don't know.
No, dude. No, it's not. It's madness over here. It's
Hey, Arwen,
it
this
gives
was
me a headache just thinking about it.
Arwen, this was jokes, man.
Now, Tennessee votes the same way every time, bro. There's not even a debate.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
What-
we're all Republicans in Tennessee.
Oh, you from Tennessee too, Paul?
Yep,
No kidding.
I was raised here.
Oh, what up,
Yep.
brethren?
I'm in the eastern side of Tennessee.
Y'all are more
You don't have
country
to
than
say-
we are, ironically, yeah.
Didn't they secede from the Union?
Through Tennessee?
Not the eastern side.
Oh, almost. Almost. Yeah, when you go more west, it's more liberal. You get in Memphis and it's really messed up.
Oh yeah, I can't argue with that one. Nashville's bad too.
Yeah, what is? I've been hearing a lot of bad stuff about. I'm not that far away from Memphis, by the way. What's so bad about Memphis?
Oh my gosh.
Really?
Yeah.
What's good about Memphis, bro?
I went there years ago. And this is probably 20 or so years ago, and we went to a hotel, and the cops pulled up to us and said, "You guys need to worry about this area." So we in a hotel that we went to. We looked pretty good. It looked like it was a nice hotel. You know, it wasn't like it was some special aid or something. It was a pretty decent hotel too.
Well, like, I'll say this, dude. I missed my flight in Memphis last weekend or whatever. And so I went downtown to eat. And as soon as the street lights came on, I had to leave.
Wow. I didn't know that it was that bad, man.
Yeah. I'll just say you would stick out with your pigment.
Now, I've
Which
driven.
doesn't matter, but I mean, they single you out because you're like the only white dude in downtown Memphis. You know, they're like, "What are you doing here, bro? You're
Oh,
not
I
supposed
got you.
to be
Yeah.
here."
Yeah. Now, I drove through and around Memphis, but I was never there at night and never in no shady neighborhoods. It was so. The surprising thing was the population was so condensed in Memphis. I didn't think it was that condensed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the rest of Tennessee is the exact opposite.
Exactly. Yeah. Tennessee's gorgeous, man. I've driven through Tennessee a number of times, and I'll tell you what, breathtaking, man. Through the
There's
mountains.
land everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the time to come through East Tennessee right now because the leaves have changed.
Oh yeah,
This is
it
the
would be
time
gorgeous. Yeah.
I'm actually coming out there in a couple weeks. My friend just moved out there, Pigeon Forge. But anyway.
Yep. That's Dolly's country. Dolly's country.
Dolly,
Yeah,
Dolly
you know that
Parton.
Memphis is actually, Memphis is actually number 8 in the country for violent crime.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, we basically don't even recognize them as Tennessee.
They're either
Okay.
Arkansas or Alabama, I think.
Greenbow, Alabama.
I thought this hangout was about gas pressure without a container or something. Or
You been drinking again?
what?
What? Can I shout out the super chat? Was the one that came in from Eagle Plane and Anchor, and he posted a sticker with a thumbs up.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Appreciate that, sir.
Hmm.
No, this hangout, and we're going to get started here in a few seconds because I'm about tired of Dutch parliamentary procedures and
What?
Tennessee.
Oh, I had so much more to share.
I'm sure that's why I'm
Just started.
that's why I'm stopping it. That's why I got a mute button.
Huh.
So this little jaunt right here, and let me see how many people we got in. I was waiting for some people to get in here because I think it's really important to go in and put the silver stake through the heart of Geodesy. You know, the Odyssey, fantasy Geodesy. Yeah, that one. That's what we're doing here today. It's going to be quite quick. It might shock a few people. I hope there's some new people in here because I think that they're convinced, you know, because these people, they act like professionals. I mean, it's a professional organization per se, I guess. And
Who are we talking about exactly?
Geodesy, geodetic surveying and Geodesy.
I thought that we already handled that subject.
We did a little bit, but I wanted the subject came up, like I said, it happened on a debate a couple days ago between Witsit Gets It, and Maine Surveyor. It seems that, and I've been listening to a few hangouts, you know, that people tape, that this subject is popping up again when it was killed like 4 years ago when Jesse Kozlowski first come out here. I told him, I said, Jesse, I can destroy your entire discipline with just a short 5-word phrase. Anyone know what that phrase might be? It kills Geodesy and geodetic survey. It pummels it, crushes it, and sends it into the incoherent oblivion. This is it. Angular size change with distance. That's it. That's the whole thing. They don't account for it. And like Nathan said, when Nathan always talks about, you know, he gives us, you know, begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking. See, that's the key statement. That's the trick that they use, is perspective hijacking. What they do is they hijack a key aspect of perspective, that's angular size change with distance, bury it, and then write curve over top of it and tell you that the earth is curved because of angular size change with distance. That's what this game is all. I'm going to show you here in a few minutes what this is all about. And I'm shocked that adults actually were conned by this. How about that?
Yeah, in 2016 you did that.
Yeah. Yep. And it seemed to go away a little bit. It was sporadic. We didn't hear too much from Jesse because Jesse Kozlowski was more or less the only one out here. Right? And then he incorporated a couple other people. Then he disappeared for a little while. And then all of a sudden, over the past few months, it's bubbling back up again. Right?
It's because they come back to the geometric horizon, figuring out whenever they bring up Alberuni, we're like, how do we know where the geometric horizon is? How do you measure the radius?
Right.
They always get back into the corner of geodetic surveying. That's why they keep coming back to it now.
Yeah, I like it too. I love it. I loved it when you asked him. Did you ask him? Did you say, what is the radius of the Earth? And he didn't know.
Yeah, he didn't know the circumference.
The circumference. That was it. Sorry. Yeah. So
yeah, right after I said, you don't even know the dimensions of this Earth that you supposedly measured. He said, oh, you get the straw man me? I said, what's the circumference then? It doesn't matter.
How is that a straw man? That's no darn straw.
Can I
man.
say something on a QE?
Say again?
He had in his, I said he had in his textbooks that level is curved, right? And but he doesn't have in his textbook the whole circumference of the Earth.
That is the big. Yeah, I wasn't gonna touch on that one too much because I figured that says it all just by itself. He said so. During the debate, and he gave me citations when I had the little Jesse hangout that we toe tagged Jesse before. He sent me citation in the comment section. He said, "Well, my textbooks say level is curved." Well, well, what are you going to say about that? You can't have a word.
Right then and there.
Say again?
And he was deceived right then and there. And
Exactly.
He took it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Because you can't have two words. You can't have level and then have curve, which are antithetical to each other, mean the same thing. That's a paradox. You can't do that. I don't care who tells you. I don't care what textbook that you have, right? If they told you that you were a facultative anaerobe woodpecker, would you believe it? No, because level is a common term. Everyone knows what it means.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So level, all level is no point higher than another. Everyone knows this. That's what level means. And then when you have a curve, there are many points higher than the other points. So if you have trouble with that, go ahead and ring your call button, and I'll have Tommy come back with a tack hammer and bang you over the head because you're a retard.
Who's Tommy?
I think you'd have to know the movie.
Oh.
Tommy Boy.
Oh.
All right, so you guys,
Maybe I'm glad I didn't.
Go ahead. Do you want to? Is there any comments, any admin before we get going?
Nope, not yet.
All right, guys, we're gonna get going. Mic discipline here. I might stop. I'm gonna play a short audio from the main surveyor here coming up in a few minutes. You won't be able to hear it in Discord. Everyone will hear it in the audience. I'll let you know when it's coming, and you can go on mute and then listen to it. You don't have to hear it because I'm gonna explain it. It's very easy to understand. Just don't worry about it for right now. We'll get back to it when it pops up. So let's take a look at what Geodesy is. It's always a good thing, especially if there's any new people out there, to go ahead and define what we're talking about. So I figured that's what I would do, and we'll go over it, especially this little discussion right here that they have is from NOAA. That's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. I mean, if anyone should know it, they should know it. Follow? Well, let's take a look at this. We'll go through this with a little fine-tooth comb just to make sure we understand what's going on here. So what is Geodesy? They come out the gate with Geodesy is the science. No, it's not. It's not a natural science. Number one, now it's an ology at best, the study of. So it's not a science. The science of accurately measuring. Well, you see, the scientific method isn't concerned quantitatively, it's concerned qualitatively. So that's a double whammy right there. Number three, they can't formulate any hypotheses. This is a joke. But I digress. I'm going to be digressing a few times through this. Just be patient. So let's continue. Geodesy is the science of accurately measuring and understanding the Earth's geometric shape, orientation in space, and gravity. I don't know how you can figure out the orientation in space. If they're talking about the vacuum of space, they got a big problem because that's a second law of thermodynamics violation. However, just the overall generalized topic of orientation in space, you don't know your orientation if you're standing on it. The only way you can figure out the orientation in space if you get off of that thing that you're attempting to figure out the orientation of, and then turn around, all of a sudden look back. That's the only way you can do that. And then finally, and gravity field. Gravity? What are you talking? Fairy tale gravity? Well, number one, it's a fairy tale. Number two, which type of gravity are you talking about? Well, let's take a look. I had to look it up. I wanted to make sure, right? Let's take a look at this. This is from their alma mater wiki. Gravitational field. In physics, yeah, you wish. A gravitational field is a model. You're going to be getting killed here over the next few minutes by this. Models. So they're measuring accurately models? Right? Let's take a look at this. Geodesy is the science of accurately measuring and understanding. So these two occur with this. So accurately measuring a model. That's interesting. Used to explain the influence that a massive body extends into space around itself. What? Producing a force. Got a big problem. Because if you're producing a force, that's Newtonian gravity. That's been out of date for about 105 years. So they're parroting the wrong pseudoscience. So they're not getting off the mark very well. So producing a force on another massive body. Thus, a gravitational field is used to explain gravitational phenomena and is measured in newtons per kilogram. Sure. Yeah, you're finished right here. You're done right there. This whole thing is baloney. And I just tore it apart, but we'll continue. So, many organizations use Geodesy. Here we go. This is the greasing of the skids for Joe Numpty and Spinning Sally to legitimize this discipline. Watch how they do it. This is second grade slick. Many organizations use Geodesy to map the U.S. shoreline, determine land boundaries, and improve transportation and navigation safety. So, what you say to yourself, well, listen, I've driven down Highway 1. They pretty much got the shoreline squared away. So determining land boundaries, well, we don't hear too much about any land disputes for the most part. And transportation and navigation safety, in the big picture, generally speaking, and for the most part, we have all these things, right? So if that's true, if those are true, then Geodesy must be legitimate, and we live on a Jesuit-sponsored spinning space monkey ball. You see how they do? This is rhetorical. I'm just asking you rhetorically out there. You see how they do this? That's a joke, folks. This is a joke. Let's continue. To measure the points on the Earth's surface, okay, remember this statement right here. I'm going to keep that highlighted. To measure the points on the Earth's surface, geodesists assign coordinates similar to a unique address to points all over the Earth. In the past, geodesists determined the coordinates of points by using Earth-based surveying tools to measure the distances between points. Today, geodesists use space-based tools like the Global Positioning System to measure points on the Earth's surface. Space-based, you talking about the second law of thermodynamics violation, Narnia? So this entire statement right here, this today, it's Mox Nix. It's worthless because it doesn't exist. This is a fairy tale. Now I'm going to keep this bolded up here for a second. Okay, everyone got that so far? That's rhetorical. Here we go with the last paragraph. To measure the Earth, geodesists build simple mathematical models of the Earth. What? That's non sequitur. To measure something, you build a mathematical model? I think we ought to make a new subject with subject-verb agreement and not with plurality or any nonsense like that. Just with, does it follow? Does the subject and verb follow each other? Because this doesn't. To measure the Earth, geodesists build simple. How can you measure a mathematical model? That's rhetorical, by the way. And let's go back up to my highlighted point. Let's compare this. To measure points on the Earth's surface. That sounds physical to me. This doesn't. This says To measure the Earth, geodesists build simple mathematical That's those two statements contradict each other. Follow, guys? But I digress. We'll continue. To measure the Earth, geodesists build simple mathematical models of the Earth which capture the largest, most obvious features. Geodesists have adopted the ellipsoid. If you're Soundly or Soundly's followers, this is elliptoid, but I digress again. Geodesists have adopted the ellipsoid as the most basic model. We got models everywhere. Fairy tale models everywhere. As the most basic model of the Earth. Because the ellipsoid is based on a very simple mathematical model. There's models everywhere, folks. It can be completely smooth and does not include any mountains or valleys. When additional detail of the Earth is needed, geodesists use the geoid. Listen to this. A geoid has a shape very similar to global mean sea level. What do you mean? How is mean sea level a shape? That's rhetorical too. That doesn't make sense. A geoid has a shape very similar to the global mean sea level. Check this out. But this exists over the whole globe, not just over the oceans. What in the world what does that even mean? Let's check this out. We're going to come back to, we're going to concentrate right here just for a few minutes on this little part right here, because the rest is a travesty of coherence. So what's a geoid? The hypothetical, wait a second. The hypothetical shape of the Earth, this is from Oxford Dictionaries. The hypothetical shape of the Earth coinciding with mean sea level and its imagined extension under and over land areas? What on earth, people? I mean, that literally, what on earth? I'm not getting this. Because the ellipsoid, let's get to the ellipsoid. Let's get over here. Oh, wrong one. Don't freak out. See what we got here. So, first they're talking about the ellipsoid. If you're Soundly or Soundly's followers, like I said, that's elliptoid. Unbelievable. So, the worldwide reference ellipsoid. That's what they used, a WGS 84, the World Geodetic System 1984. Now, what's the elephant in the room here? Again, rhetorical. You see this ellipsoid? You see this shape? Somebody needs to call NASA and have them redact all of their CGI over the past 50 years. Because I've never seen this shape. Never. Any of their CGI. What in the hell are they doing? That's rhetorical. So when they don't use that, right? What do they use? They go to this is the geoid. This irregular testicle looking shape piece of nugget. This is what they use for mean sea level. What on earth? NASA. I've never seen this in any of your CGI. What is this? Do you just conjure stuff up? I mean, it's preposterous. It's tantamount. Let's move on. It's tantamount to taking this, right, as an object, but you're going to mathematically model it and describe it using that. This is what we're talking about, folks. This is what I mean. That's what they're saying. They're taking that and then mathematically modeling it after that. A tumbleweed. Essentially, that's what they're telling you. This is incoherent. This is imbecilic of the highest order. That's all I can say about it. So, let's get back. If you think that's crazy and batshit insane, you ain't seen anything yet. Because we're going to get to the point. So we're going to take a look. This was from the other day. This is the main surveyor, right? And this was, like I said, he was in a debate a few days ago with Gets it, who's on the panel right now. All right. I just wanted to orient you to who he was. This is his proof. Now, remember that I said I want you to keep in mind, remember, the whole game with this geodetic surveying and its impact on whether you're living on a flat surface or a sphere, their proof is actually perspective hijacking. You think I'm kidding you? Here we go. This is his proof that he offered. So, this picture was taken on May 16th through a Leica TS-16 total station telescope set. What he's doing here, he's establishing level where he's at, and he's looking out over water at 2 lighthouses, and he's using his crosshairs. We got the crosshair games going on here. And what he says, ladies and gentlemen, is because these 2 lighthouses, the first lighthouse, Halfway Rock Lighthouse, is 9 miles away. This big guy right in the middle. This is 9 miles away. And this lighthouse back here called Sangin Island Lighthouse at nearly 24 miles away. Therefore, because these 2 items off in the distance are below his crosshairs he met at level, that the Earth's a sphere. See the game? You think I'm kidding? Let's take a listen to what he has to say. Hey, go on mute, guys, in the Hangout so I don't get any feedback, please. This will be real short. I'm going to play it a couple times, though. Listen up. This is Main Surveyor. Ready? Here we go.
The only way for Seguin Island Lighthouse, the elevation of which is at 184 feet, the light, to be below the crosshairs that were at 7683 feet, is for the surface between us to be curved.
I'm going to play it one more time. Again, Main Surveyor.
The only way for Seguin Island Lighthouse, the elevation of which is at 184 feet, the light, to be below the crosshairs that were at 7683 feet, is for the surface between us to be curved.
That's it. There is perspective hijacking. He doesn't understand, and these surveyors, geodetic type, never take into account angular size change with distance. If you'd show this to an incoherent second grader, they'd roll their eyes and laugh at you. I'm serious. You just heard them say it. They do not understand it. They don't get it. That's the whole game. That's it. That's the whole game. Look what he does here. He puts this in Muppet vision, right? But of course he doesn't have everything on. What he's implying here, that if his, where he's standing, and this Halfway Rock Lighthouse and this one, Sangin, was on the same index line, that it on a flat surface, that this would be higher than these 2. But what doesn't he take into account? Angular size change with distance, people. Listen to this. The curve fitting the 0 elevation at each of these 3 points yield, they even get a radius from this nonsense. How on earth are you doing that? I'd like to take a look at that magic mystical majesto. This is a joke, folks. Watch how I destroy it. This is how I destroy their little reindeer games. They do not understand that this 6-inch object, because it's closer to you, is going to be bigger than the objects behind, no matter their height. You got a 6-foot-tall man or woman here? Look at this. However, see this dinosaur, the 6-inch object, is much bigger than this, right? Why? We all know this. We experience every single day of our lives. And look at this object. We got a 6,000-foot object that is dwarfed by a 6-inch object. Why is that? Well, everyone knows that can fog a mirror, then graduated 2nd grade, is because of angular size change with distance. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that is my case against geodetic surveying and Geodesy. I could just stop right here and end it, and I will, because it's over. Questions, comments? Am I still live?
Yeah, I hear you. So the whole perspective thing he did, they don't take into account. It's obvious. It was obvious with the last that we spoke about. Or what was it? That guy's name? Was it Kozlowski still?
I think it was Jesse Kozlowski.
Yeah. He had that same thing with the crosshairs. They
Yes.
kept perspective. I don't know why. I just don't get it. I just don't get why these people are so brainwashed into seeing things that aren't there.
Well, like I said, it's as simple as that. I know everyone's shocked, right? But you don't have to be shocked. The whole game that they try to play, I'm going to say this again. I said, pay attention to the perspective hijacking. What they've done, the witches from years ago, and we know who their father is, what they've done, it was real coy. It was second grade slick. They figured out perspective, and then they superimposed the fairy tale on top of that. They buried the perspective part, which everyone knows, right? Everyone knows. If you're at an airport, right, and you see this big jumbo 747 on the runway, even it's not that far away from you. It could be 100 yards or 200 yards or 150 meters, right? I could put my thumb over the whole darn thing. Is my thumb bigger than the jumbo 747? No. This is the entire game, people. This is what they're doing to you. Geodetic surveying and geodesy boiled down to this little numpty fiasco. They're secret numpty dipshit kings is what they are. I can't even believe I have to even present on this.
They're all suffering from reification syndrome.
I don't know.
And they presuppose that it is a ball, and then the same old, right? There's nothing new under the sun. It's also in the Bible, by the way. So yeah, it's just another deceit. And
I asked them about angular size, and they said it didn't matter.
Someone in the chat posted a super chat, and Una talks Vemu, and he says no comment. So
what can you say? We'll go. Do you want to go through the group? Let's go through the group. Hey, what's it? Yeah, go ahead. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, yeah, I guess I just kind of assumed that they accounted for it, honestly, but they clearly don't. I didn't even say that in the debate. The two main things I didn't say that I kind of thought were unspoken was you have to account for angular size change, and of course, you're making calculations, not measurements. And then it presupposes the radius value you're supposedly invoking this to prove. So it's incredibly stupid, but I will say, since I talked to you, every time I talk to someone about it and I say, did you account for angular size change? You get crickets, right? And
Yes.
then 30 seconds later, they'll say, oh, but it doesn't even matter. Like, okay.
What's it? Thank you for bringing up a good point. I don't know if I touched on this point. Remember we were talking about the two measurement paradoxes that they had in their discussion that we went over in the beginning? They're not measuring anything. They're using optics and their philosophy, not measurements. So good. Thanks, man. Thanks for bringing that up. I forgot to bring it up because I got sidetracked with the two paradoxical measurement idiocies. But you're correct. You're
Just reverse engineering the calculations based on optics.
Calculations based on optics. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Anything else that stood out to you? I mean, you were there. I was listening to it, shaking my head, especially after the first. Because, like I said, he had his textbook there, and his textbook tells him that level is curved, so that means level is curved, I guess.
Yeah, the part that stood out to me was I said, okay, so let's see how honest you are for the whole audience. We're going to establish local plumb. We know for a fact it's parallel. So if we know for a fact something is parallel and we step back and we look at it, is it going to look exactly parallel? And he couldn't answer because, of course not. You're looking through the atmosphere, right? But if he answers that, then he admits that, well, it could be perfectly parallel. We would never know. So, and then in addition to that, in that same debate, he conceded that to even try to basically postulate some accuracy rate, you have to have your standard that you're claiming to prove, which is the geoid or ellipsoid model. And I was like, so you need the R value? He's like, no, I don't need the R value. I said, yes, you literally do. And then I said, what are you comparing it to? And he says the NWS 84, which of course uses the radius value. So then he said, oh, but I don't go out there with the radius in my head.
Yes.
So,
But don't they, aren't the measure, don't you have to have that undergirding the whole discipline though?
yeah. When you increase the distance, you're going to have to know, because like a line from point to point is straight, shortest distance between 2 points. But on a globe Earth, of course, that would go through the Earth. So that line is actually curved. You have to have an arc length. But
Yep.
I mean, he obviously didn't understand that. He didn't even understand. He was begging the question of the R.
Unbelievable. Are you listening out there? Because currently, right now, this is their best proof. The Baltards I'm telling you, hands down. I've been hearing it. It's really making a strong comeback. And if this is the best that they got, oh boy.
Snacks in the back.
I sure hate it for him. Go ahead.
Oh, I'll say if that's the best they got. Snacks in the back. Welcome to Flat Earth.
That's right. Welcome to Flat Earth. Snacks in the back, bathrooms on the left. This is over, people. I'm embarrassed for them. You tell me a grown adult doesn't know about angular size change and they don't account for it? This is where it comes down. We're not even talking about any types of fairy tale refraction, right? Which they can't account for anyway, because when they say refraction, then they're immediately invoking terrestrial refraction, which requires the radius, which they don't have. So not even looking at that. We're just looking at angular size change. This is a $6 million man crash and burn dumpster fire of epic proportions. So I don't know what you guys are going to do. If everyone's listening out here and they understand angular size change, wherever you go, you're through. Because they're going to immediately say, do you account for angular size change? And just remember me, Jesse, and we got the main surveyor, and then we got another geodetic surveyor out there. I seen one of his names. I think it's Larry Scott from Jose JG Retard Show. Just whenever you hear, do you calculate angular size change, Mr. Surveyor? Just think of me smiling and waving back here. Because I got you by the nads. Okay? You're welcome. Anything else on that? What's it? Anything you want to follow up with that? Anything that strikes your fancy?
No, I mean, you pretty much covered, man. We're on the home stretch. This is all that they have. They have no way to claim to even know the dimensions. They have to invoke geodetic surveying. There's literally not another option. That's why they're invoking. It's not that it's a solid proof. It's that they have no choice. They have to claim the dimensions have been substantiated somehow. So this is pretty much the end of the road for them, I would say.
Yes, sir. And thank you for leading the charge in this direction. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, of course.
Betty, do you have any thoughts on that? Because I know you love perspective.
Yeah. Well, it's just a rerun from the same argument, right? I don't get it why these people don't see what they're doing, and that it's sort of the hijacking of perspective is evident here, right? It's things disappear in a vanishing distance. So why would you not take that into account and see it? I don't get it. We had these guys. I think that we had in the last time talked about Jesse Kozlowski. Was that we had two of these theodolites on either side of a lake, and that if we would look at one another, then we wouldn't be have each other in the crosshairs, basically, right?
Exactly.
And it reminded me of just your drawing skills graph that you once put up with these two guys standing on each side, and then everything drops from there. Whatever, how to make that.
It's Alice, Bob, and Victor.
Yeah, and then everything goes basically into a deep abyss or something.
Do I have to drag that out?
Well,
Yeah. Let me go see if I can't search that out. Because and you're absolutely correct. This is the best flat Earth proof, right? How can you have? Just think about this conceptually, people. Let's say you have a total station, and your best friend has a total station. They're both the same size. They're both the same elevation, right? But the second one that your buddy has, it's on wheels, but it's at the same height, right? You guys following me? They butt both of the telescopic ends up against each other, and the crosshairs are balls on. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to have your friend move back on a flat level, flat equals level. On a flat level surface, you're going to have them wheel that second one back. The second transit away from you. Let's say it's 200 yards. What they're going to say is that when you're looking at your buddy through the crosshairs, and the crosshairs are going to be off, what they're saying is that between you and him, that there's curvature. However, even that's a train wreck because they haven't taken angular size change with distance into account. However, check this out. Your friend is looking back at you, and your crosshairs are higher than his on his total state. How can that be? How can that be in reality that his crosshairs are higher when he's looking at you? However, at the same time, your buddy's crosshairs when he's looking back at you are higher. It's the paradox of unequaled paradoxes. It's impossible. You can't have it. You can't have two people live on a sphere. It's a train wreck. So let me go ahead, Betty. I'm going to go find that.
It's really stupid, right? And when the last guy said it, we use for the theodolite to see that they are on the same level, right? We use the water, and I thought, what? I thought that water was also curved, right? How can you use the water? Duh. I mean, one time you can use the water to make things level, and the other time it curves around everything, and it's not flat at all.
That's right. That's another trick, right?
Yeah.
I found it. So this is kind of embarrassing, but that's all right. I've been embarrassed before. It's no big deal. Let me see if I can pull this thing up.
Have you?
Where'd you go? Oh, I know what the problem is. Okay, I got it. All right, here we go. So let me see if I can't make this a little bigger. I constructed this. Within the same week, I became a flat earther. The same week, and you can tell my drawing skills here, but listen, this is the same analogy that I put forth previously with both total stations butted up against each other and you pull one away. Conceptually, this is the same thing. Let me ask you a question. You see what's going on here with Alice, Bob, and Victor, right? Alice is on island 1. Bob is on island 2. These islands are 40 miles away from each other. So from Alice's perspective, everything's falling away from her feet on a tangent at 8 inches per mile squared. I mean, it's actually doing it. This isn't a sight gag. This is based on geometry. At the same time, Bob is looking back at Alice. And from Bob's positions, it's also doing the same thing. Everything is falling away. The earth is falling away from Bob on a tangent from Bob's feet at 8 inches per mile square. I could stop right here. This is the similar scenario that I was talking about, even without angular size change. Don't even worry about that. Just conceptually, this is impossible. It's a paradox. Does everyone follow me? Is everyone catching this?
Yeah, but this is relevant for the whole bit with the other lights, right? They're doing with the surveying, right? But basically, we might also making a thinking error if you were on. Suppose that you have a puppet on a ball and you put another puppet, right? It would work, right? But there's nobody really on top of it.
No, yeah, it can't.
Yeah.
It can't work. That little game that they played that everyone's on the top of the ball. No. Not in reality, no.
No,
So
there has to be an up and down, basically.
yeah, this is it, folks. This is the best flat earth proof ever, in my humble opinion. Because
Well, and
go ahead.
I understand that Jaron from Jaronism also stated this. I remember him making it, and everybody laughed at it, but he was correct. And he made better graphics than you.
I'm sure he did. I couldn't draw a clue.
Yeah. The thing is that Jaron made really good graphics. So
And he's correct.
yeah, it was so obvious when you saw that. Then everything sort of, you can't hold those two concepts in your mind, right?
They're mutually exclusive ideas or truths at the same time. You can't do that. This is a paradox, folks.
Is this what Nathan calls Muppet vision, in the sense of drawing these stick figures and?
No, that's not. Muppet vision is everything is on the same level, at the same height. That's Muppet vision.
Yeah, sort of the orthographic.
The orthographic view. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I did leave out Victor's perspective here because I didn't know how to draw this with perspective because I can't draw. I just you get the in actuality. If this was actual, there would be an abyss right here between Victor, Alice, and Bob. This is it. We can go. Somebody turn the lights off. That's how easy.
Even worse, right? Because you have now these people sort of at the same distance from each other, right? In a sort of a triangle.
Oh, let me bring it back.
People between all these people, the abyss would sort of change everywhere.
It's paradoxical at every turn. It's over. Like I said, turn out the lights. Elvis has left the building. The fat lady's friggin' singing. She's screaming. That's how simple it is to defeat this fairy tale, Baltard spinning space monkey religion. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, this guy, but that which it debated, he was getting sort of arrogant sort of way that he sort of waved it away, but they don't think, right? They're just in their own paradigm.
It's sponsored by the Jesuits, by the way.
I was just gonna. That's what she rumpus me, and I was gonna correct myself because I was gonna say the Jesuits sponsored spinning monkey ball.
There you go.
So
that looks like a black hole to me there that you just.
Yeah. So this is what it comes down to, folks. I didn't want to make this a extremely long presentation. It doesn't need to be. So before we're going to go ahead and finish up here. We'll go down the list. We'll have everyone speak to it and give their final thoughts. But all I wanted to say is that if you guys come across these topics, especially geodetic surveying, Geodesy, all you have to do in rebuttal when they pull out their little crosshairs is angular size change with distance. They don't account for it. They hijacked it many years ago. They hijacked perspective, in other words, buried it, and then wrote curve over the top of it. That's what they did. The way you bust them, you get them up against the corner and say, do you count for angular size change? Do you know that when things move away from you or things are at distance, they're smaller than they actually are? It's called angular size change. It's the apparent size. That means it's not actual size, and it's done. It's a laugh fest after that. So I hope it helps you guys out. So Betty, the con is yours. We can go through the group if you wish.
Okay. Well, maybe start with Arwin. Is Arwin there? You have anything to comment on this?
Did he pass out yet?
Oh, don't tease him. Might be making coffee now. Brian Logic, I muted you. Maybe you have something to add?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, there's a lot I could say about it, but I'm not going to go and say a load as there isn't time for that. I'll say the two most important things. One is the reason that the ballers are so latching on to geodetic surveying in the past few months is due to the fact that they can't quote Eratosthenes and they certainly can't quote Al-Biruni as their origin, as the origin of their radius value. So they have two choices. They can go to the actual origin, which is Pythagoras, or they can say geodetic surveying. And that's why they're latching on to geodetic surveying, because they can't say Pythagoras because he just made up a lot of maths. He didn't have any, he just made things up, and people followed what he made up. That's the first thing. The second thing is that they never, they just call what Flatside has deemed as optical drop. I made some videos on it, and Flatside has recently made some videos on it, and they just ignore this optical drop. Jesse Kozlowski would not watch any of the video I made on it. He refused to watch it. No matter how many times I tried to share it with him, he wouldn't watch it. And he won't have anything to do with anything the flat side is doing either, supposedly. So they just want to avoid that this prospective effect known as we're calling optical drop, as probably the easiest thing to call it, is a real thing. Which means that in the distance, something that's at the same height as you might actually appear smaller, but it's not really. It's just in the distance, it got smaller with angular size change. And I also had, just like QE, I said to Jesse Kozlowski back in 2016, do you account for angular size change? And after 4 days of banter to and fro between me and him, he admitted he didn't. So that tells you everything. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. That's game, set, and match, man. We know that they don't count for it because they hijacked it, is what they did. Nathan is right on point when he says it. Thanks, Brian. Do you want to shout out your channel?
Yeah, Brian's Logic. If anyone wants to subscribe, I put up videos now and again. Thank you, QE. Thanks, Betty.
Yep. And we got Flatside here. Just popped in. I have anything to
Hey.
say?
Just want to say, Rayleigh criterion kills the globe. Point made.
All right.
We're not talking about the Rayleigh criterion. We're talking about angular size change with distance.
Angular resolution limit is part of that.
Yeah, it has a part of it. You're right. Thanks for staying on the same sheet of music.
Well, I liked to go back what Brian's logic said.
Go ahead.
That we wondered why they're going to the surveying. That's interesting because when you sort of debunk the whole radius of the Earth with Eratosthenes and Biruni guy, and they want to go to something else. It's like they need to circle around. It's like a flock of sheep that the two wolves are barking at them, and then they go to the next corner and try to have some safe space there.
Yes.
Right?
It's like whack-a-mole.
Yeah, that's why we circle around these same old arguments every time, and we have to bring up the previous one because they also have a memory like a goldfish.
Yeah, and what they do, you spoke to it before. Sometimes they get themselves screwed up because they have conditions in the argument they think they just won. They change the natural conditions in argument too. The perfect example, Eratosthenes and then lunar eclipses. Let me ask you a question. In Eratosthenes, which he didn't even actually do anything, by the way, but the concept of what Eratosthenes did. Are the sun rays parallel? Is that one of the assumptions?
Yes.
In any of the documented lunar or solar eclipses, are the sun rays parallel? Nope. They don't remain consistent, and you could bust them I've been doing that recently. It's been a lot of fun. So just there's a FYI out there. So I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, Betty.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? They do that every time. Hold two concepts in their minds. It's doublespeak, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go to global virus.
Yeah, I just thought it was a great show, and I agree that drawing that you made is so intuitive. I don't know why we're not using that argument more.
You know what? Why? Because it's not sophisticated.
I think that's it.
It is. I'm absolutely convinced it's it. And I hate that. The simpler that it can be, because most things in life are simple. They only get complicated when man gets his grubby little hands in things. That's my thoughts on it. But you're right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Anything else?
That's it.
Let me go to John Shelton. You're unmuted.
Yeah, it seems like it follows the same formula as every other globe proof. You beg the question, you create a reification, and then you confuse what apparent and actual means. There's your globe.
Yes, sir.
A lot of this stuff is foreshortening with perspective. Even the lines of the theodolite appear to be subject to, foreshortening too. With Brian's Logic's videos, with the laser not leveling with the crosshair of the phone, it does appear that there's a lot of perspective shenanigans going on.
Yep.
With even the crosshairs of the camera being subject to foreshortening. So there's a lot of optical information that appears to be compressed into these small areas of the frame, that's leading to, off angles over a flat plane.
I'm absolutely sure of that. Yep, I agree. But don't need to go that far. I just use angular size change, and then I kick up my heels and light the stogie.
Because they're basing a lot of what they believe off of a horizon crosshair that they assume doesn't change. But even that crosshair that they're citing would be subject to foreshortening and narrow due to angular size as well, leading to angles that are potentially off.
Sure. Yep, I agree. Thanks. Appreciate it, Lemonbird. Paul?
Yeah, that's something I've been thinking about, and I think this seems to relate. We always have, there's an assumption that on a flat plane that the horizon would rise to eye level, but what if it doesn't?
It doesn't.
And if all this is so that's why I'm wondering. This seems to be evidence for that it doesn't.
It's just below eye level. Now, can I get technical on that? No, I can't. But that little game, but you say it rises to eye level because that's what started out in 2015. Because it's close, but not exactly. I know that for a fact. So it doesn't mean anything anyway. Doesn't prove they're spinning ball.
Yeah, I'd like to just say on that note, it comes up, but it doesn't go all the way to eye level. So how could it happen on a flat Earth if it's not eye level? Because the ground is below you.
Yep. That's the answer. You got it right. You're right on top of it. What's it? That's exactly right.
Right, and also then you throw the atmospherics in there, then it could drop even more.
Yeah.
The original statement was that it appears to rise to eye level.
Yes.
And people got lazy and started saying it rises to eye level.
You are exactly right, Brian. Thank you for saying that. You're right on it. Yep. It's laziness because you got to be hyper specific. Substantive specificity, as I heard somebody say.
It is sort of a lazy straw man in that, it's almost the argument, but they're missing the part of the argument where it rises toward the level of the eyes and doesn't drop immediately.
Yeah.
It's a really lazy straw man.
Yeah. It's their way of obfuscating that it should be dropping away if on a globe.
Yes, sir. All right, Paul, is that all you got?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Betty, take over.
Got Sasha, and I've got him off mute.
Yeah, I didn't listen last 20 minutes, let's say. But for me, it's enough that definition for Geodesy. Geodesy.
Say that again one more time. I don't think it came through all that well.
I didn't listen all show, but from the beginning, I heard what is definition of Geodesy. Geodesy? I don't know how to pronounce.
It's Geodesy. Most people, even
Yeah.
even the geodesists, can't pronounce it right. Geodesist, it's Geodesy. Okay.
Okay, Geodesy.
Not
okay.
you, Sasha. I'm
Okay.
I'm punking out the friggin' people to call it Geodesy, and a lot of them are
Okay.
geodesists. For goodness sake.
This is only because of my English, nothing else.
Yeah. Nothing against you, Sasha. You're good to go. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I have nothing to add. I had no comment in Superchat. That's all.
Appreciate it.
Good. All right.
But the G cannot prove the curve.
The G can't prove the curve. You got that right.
That geodesy, yeah.
Geodesy, you got it right. You're all over it.
Okay, and then we got C Montreal.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, Montreal, what's up? Haven't seen you in Coon's age. Where you been?
I've been around, bro.
All right.
I got a big smile on my face when I saw your drawing today. Because so happens yesterday we were talking about Lake Pontchartrain Bridge. And you know where they show that curve there at the end? So they were going on and on. I said, okay, guys, there's a curve there, right? Okay, so I should be able to take my skateboard, right? Because it's a curve, and bring it up to that point and just skate my way down, no? Silence in the room. So then when I saw your picture, bro, I go, wait a minute. He's onto something here. Two guys should get on a surfboard and just surf the wave and meet in the black hole.
Yeah.
Mind-boggling ridiculousness, bro.
Yeah. You got it. That's how we are off the reservation here, people. Out here, there be monsters. And they're incoherent numpties.
No.
So that drawing of yours, bro, hit it dead on. You know, I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that. You either have a curve or you don't.
Are you impressed with that artistic prowess?
Very impressive. Too bad you couldn't draw that third line in, bro, because that would make a black hole there.
Oh, you could have just drawn a straight line. It's good.
And it's even dumbed down so much that the Globus can understand.
They ain't going to get that. No way. They can't get it because it's over for them. They're done. All right. Is that all you got, SC Montreal? You got a channel? Do you want to prop up or anything?
No, not really. I got a small channel, bro.
Well, go ahead.
SC Montreal. The channel is SC Montreal if anybody wants to check it out.
That sounds very interesting. It makes sense.
Hey, Betty, you cracked me up before. You said we have C Montreal next. I was snickering back here.
Why?
Because it's SE Montreal.
Oh, it sounded like French.
Oh, say Montreal.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounded like it meant something, but now it's sort of.
It means stationary Earth, Betty, just for the record.
Oh, look at that.
Ah, all right.
There's hidden meanings in these names, man.
Yeah. Get to that more and more, huh?
Yeah.
I think that beats quantum eraser.
Yeah, we haven't let Neil talk. What do you think about Geodesy, Neil?
You know, missed the whole thing because I was running back and forth trying to find a place to vote. At the wrong place, at the right place. So we finally got it done. Trump across the board. I'm done. All
Okay,
of that
but you
stuff
didn't fall into a base.
everything QE said is true. All that other stuff is bullshit.
So you didn't fall in an abyss, did you, Neil?
No, I'm gonna re-listen later.
Okay, good. Okay, and then we get the last. Oh, we got the Stranger Danger. Maybe he wants to. I
Go
think he
ahead,
wants
Ed Freeze. What do you got? No,
I'm
no, hold up.
sorry.
What's
I'm
it?
sorry.
Hold up. What's it? We got Ed Freeze. I know you probably have to go, but hold on a second. We got Stranger Danger. That's Ed Freeze. Be nice. Come off mute and share your pain.
Right.
He's not going to come off mute. That's a wise move. Hey, Witsit, go ahead and finish it on up for us, sir.
Oh, does this guy believe in vain religious superstitions brought to him by Jesuit priests?
Yes.
Well, gotcha. Yeah, man, you pretty much covered it, man. Simple stuff. This is like the home run of the globe Earth argument in 2020. So, like I said, I feel like we're on the victory lap, But yeah, I definitely think it's very important that all flat earthers understand like the in and outs of this conversation. Certainly, at the least, to say, well, did you account for angular size change? They all have to at least know that, because if you are actually adequate at debating the flat Earth, you're going to force them into a corner where they're going to have to stake a claim about how they determine the dimensions. They're going to come back full circle geodetic surveying. They just sit there waiting to decapitate them when they get there. GG's.
You got it right, sir. Isn't it beautiful? And I hope it starts right now. Yes, sir. You'll be the one leading the charge out there, man. Excellent job you do out there. Just want to say that again. If you guys haven't heard Witsit Gets It, go ahead and sign up for a good portion of it comes from Chemo's channel. I don't know if we have that close at hand. I don't have it right now, Betty, but if you could post that in the chat at some point before the show ends.
Channel?
On Chemo's channel? Yeah. Because he posts a lot of the debates, and if no one has heard, there's like 25 to 30 people against Witsit by himself, and Witsit's just dragging them around by their short hairs. And
You want me to get that link on the show?
it's a sight to see. Go ahead.
Hold on a
We're gonna
second.
have-
That's how Witsit got discovered. Tearing people up all by himself. You didn't know that? Witsit spits it.
Go ahead, Betty. I didn't catch the last thing you said. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I will post the link to that show where right with the
Okay.
with the people on Gem Pandas, I think.
Gamma Panda. Yeah, the Gamma Panda one. Yes. Yeah.
You got another super chat, by the way.
Go ahead.
DJ New Shaman, and he says, "Keep up the good work, Kiwi. Much love, brother."
Thank you, sir, and I will. All right, guys. Betty, final thoughts and take us on home.
Oh, I'm not sort of the homecomer queen.
Oh, yes, you are. We can get into your. If you don't want to do that, we can get into your badminton prowess.
Oh, good gracious! No, let's not do that. Well, it's the only shuttles that I believe in, right? So.
Folks, she was trying to convince me yesterday that badminton players are more agile and have more athletic ability than tennis players do.
Don't
Well,
laugh.
they do run a lot. They do run quite a bit more. Think about it.
I'm sorry. I just thought that was funny. I mean, were we in a nursing home?
Oh, you guys don't even know, right? Because when you see these badminton players, they are really fast. You need to be fast.
Why do
Right,
people over
and-
80 play it?
Now, tennis players have to deal with bigger forces, so they need more muscle to basically endure the strain. Badminton is only about maneuvering because there is no strain. There's no forces to deal with. So it's all about speed, timing, flexibility, all that.
I'm not up to date with the nursing home statistics. I'll have to look it over and get back to you guys.
Yeah. I agree with you. Badminton, they have to work out the angles before they hit.
I'm feeling like kicking.
I was gonna try to fit that in. Remember, I told you yesterday we could talk about it more at some other point. That was some other point. I was trying to figure out where to get it in, but yeah, it was sort of it was. I shoehorned it in, so sorry about that. We can end with that. Go ahead. Yeah. You don't have to speak to that. We could bring that up on the next show on your.
No way.
That would be the topic of the discussion. So. Yeah. Final thoughts on this perspective, because I know that's where your heart lies.
I think that everybody should take drawing lessons and
Yes.
and look at Dutch painters, and because they are the greatest, right? So,
Dutch painters are the best. Here we go again.
yeah, and you can see that perspective is a thing, and embrace it.
Embrace
because
it.
we ain't living on a ball. Come on.
All right, so so you're the one that brought it up. Okay, who are the famous Dutch painters? We'll get off topic just a little bit, just to finish up. Who? Rembrandt.
Van Gogh.
De Nachtwacht.
Who?
Yeah, the Night Watch. Very
Brilliant.
paint.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Wow. I guess you showed
I love
me.
that one. Let's talk about Dutch politics again. You
No, I didn't know. I didn't know.
He got a famous one also.
It's the Dutch invasion.
It's Escher, right? And he made these perspective kind of drawings.
Oh,
Hij
Escher,
zal niet
yeah, the perspective guy.
Hij zal
he-
niet verstaan niet.
And he drew these perspective things that can't work, and that's amazing to look at.
Well, this shows you.
Right, because he blended orthographic view effects in with perspective effects.
Well, this shows that my extensive knowledge isn't quite extensive. I didn't know Rembrandt and Van Gogh were Dutch.
What? Why?
I didn't. I'm telling you, I didn't know that.
Oh my goodness gracious! What's your old barbarian?
I figured that was coming. Yeah, I thought it was going to come after the show. Thanks, Betty, for putting it on record.
All right, did you know that New York used to be called New Amsterdam?
Yes, we knew that. We're finishing it up, Arwen.
Oh, your history, boy.
Spoken Dutch. You all Americans spoken Dutch.
Did you know Eddie Van Halen was Dutch?
Again?
Arwen, did you know that the western coast of Australia used to be known as New Holland?
Yeah. Well,
Eddie
there you
Van
go.
Halen.
I might have heard that like maybe once, but no, not really.
Yeah, the oldest maps have they've not the British haven't discovered Australia at this point, but they're still on the maps. The western coast of Australia labelled and branded as New Holland. It's an odd thing.
Huh? What happened?
Yeah, long time ago.
Did we just retreat or something? That's bizarre. Was there some
Yeah, the
deal?
English were always sort of bugging us because we threw our ships out because always laying siege.
Yeah.
Hey, the English even tried to bother us in South Africa at this stage.
All right. Listen, hey, Adam. Sorry that you couldn't make it for the whole show, man. Did you catch any of it?
No, I literally, as you started, my son's got his mock exams this week, and he just finished his chemistry paper, so I had to go and appraise that. So yeah, apologies there, mate. It was unnecessary nip away. So yeah, I kind of missed it. So yeah, sorry, mate.
No, that's okay. All we were discussing was all this boiled down to essentially was angular size change with distance and hijacking perspective. That's what it all boiled down to.
Yeah, or the non-inclusion of it.
Exactly. Yeah, we went over it. Yes, exactly. So, Adam,
Can I shout out one last super chat?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's from Unitalk Femu. He says, "Take water scooter, Black Swan location, go in oil rigs direction. You will disappear halfway through."
Yeah, you'll disappear before the oil rigs. Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, Unitalks. Appreciate it, sir. All right. Any last thoughts, Betty? We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up because I think we put the dagger in this one.
Yeah, I think so too. It's done, and I need to go, by the way. So
Okay. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Wits It Gets It. Thanks for coming to the show, man. We're honored to have you on here. You got a free pass anytime you want to come on, man. Shout out. Thanks to all the panel members. Thanks to the audience. Like I said, this is real easy. If you're unsure of it, go ahead and watch the presentation again. Just the presentation part, not about Dutch Parliament and badminton. But just check out that part out. You'll put them right up against the wall with angular size change with distance. They don't account for it. Second graders are laughing at them. So it's bye-bye to the Odyssey, the fantasy of Geodesy. So take no prisoners. No quarter will be asked. None shall be given. And remember, I'll be back.